Not no longer in April, but we definitely have 1st of May, and I think it was the end of May for the big Salah. So yeah, we have quite a couple of holidays coming through. So my name is Rose Yusuf Kaiser. You're welcome to HerLens right here on Women Radio, Nigeria's first radio station for women and their families. And this is where we get to discuss, dissect, and disagree on topical issues right here on Nigeria's first radio station for women and their families. All right, so this morning we'll go ahead and hear from Ibinabo. Hi, Ibinabo. Good morning. Happy Easter in areas. And how was the Easter break for you?
Good morning, Lady Rose. Good morning to all our valued listeners. It's great to be here. Yeah, I had fun. I had fun because we had a lot of church activities, community activities, and then my loved ones, my family members paid us visit, and it was beautiful. It was a full house, and we went visiting as well, and then we
Hmm.
met people. There was enough, not enough though. Rice and still very plenty. We were able to reach out to some persons, I mean, some needy persons. We were
Yeah.
able to touch one or two lives. And we pray that God continues to empower us so that we can do better. And I want to tell everyone out there that your life has a lot of importance attached to it. Don't think somebody said some people their life no matter. I said everybody's life matters.
That's true.
Everybody's life
True.
matters. Some people in some communities, in some countries could stand for lower animals and try to defend them. Then I mean, what are you talking about? Human beings. The fact that you do not have money to play around with or to achieve what you would want to achieve does not mean that you are a nobody. God has created you, and there are times and seasons, and your time and your season will come soon. So let us keep hope alive and keep doing what is right, and don't stop working, don't stop um, moving, don't stop doing what you're doing as long as
Yeah.
what you're doing is in the ambit of the law. Here we thank God for the gift of life. We thank God for the power of resurrection and all of that. And we thank God that uh, we are here. We are still standing. We are still standing. Some are gone, not because they are worse than those of us that are alive, but because of the grace and mercy of God. We are here, we are standing, and we pray that God will continue to give us the grace to stand and to even move, make progress and move forward. Thank you, Rose. Thank you.
All right. Thank you too, Ibinabo. It's good to have you here, and it's good to hear from you this morning. All right, so this is your Women Radio WFM 91.7, and of course, do well to be a part of the program by sending us WhatsApp messages to 070-317-56537 or 08155917917. All right, let's get to hear from you this morning. So that we could all be carried along in the stories that we're going to be looking at this morning. So let's start from this particular one that happened in Ogun State. Now, this one, it tired me. Honestly, hearing about it is just one kind. So I got to see these reports on the Punch when I was going through headlines for the Daily News Review. And this one says that a father in Ogun State, a man, a father in Ogun State impregnates daughter 5 times. And, it was just a lot to read. Now, a man who is resident in Ifo local government area of Ogun State, who, has been identified as Oluwadamilare Ewademi, has been arrested by officers of the state police command for allegedly sexually abusing and impregnating his daughter 5 times and procuring illegal abortions for, this young woman, 21-year-old. Now, the suspect, okay, so let's just head on. It says that the victim had reportedly lost her mom as an infant. Now, After that, her father placed her in a motherless home in Ikeja, Lagos, and later took her to Ijebu Day in 2019 on that, the pretense of providing for her, just being her guide. Now, she alleged that her father began sexually abusing her in 2019 and continued the abuse over several years, leading to 5 pregnancies, which he helped her to terminate. Now, the the DSP, that's the spokesperson for the Police State Command, Baba Shegi, confirmed the incident and confirmed that the suspect, has been arrested. And he also claimed that, rather, the victim claimed to have escaped from her father's residence on Sunday, February 1, 2026, due to the excessive harassment and relocated to church in Pakuto Mountain. He explained that the 21-year-old later reported this callous act of her father to the police officers at Ifo. So, a lot just it was just going on there. But how does one person, impregnate his daughter 5 times and keeps giving her illegal abortion pills? What has our world degenerated to? Imagine what that lady must have been going through, her mental health. At some point, when probably she wanted to get out of it, or when she got to that point where she could not take it anymore, she ran out of the place. She ran out of, and I'm sure that it's not just about, the sexual abuse. It could be also, physical abuse going on there. It could be also emotional um psychological abuse going on there. There's just a lot that would be going on with that young lady. Now, how many more other cases of this are we not even hearing? Again, that comes down to the question of how safe are we as women in our society that we're trying to clean up, society that every day we come here talking about it. Like, it's appalling, and it's just a lot to take in. Well, let's get your thoughts on this, because see how my mood even changed, Sam, just talking about this. It's just one kind. And for us to, come back on the holidays from our lens and start off with this kind of story is not appealing at all. So, I mean, impregnating your daughter 5 times and also giving her the illegal abortion pills to take. Ah, please help us with this. What do you think about this? How do we take these kinds of stories away? And what options are we giving to these girls?
Uh, this is a very disheartening one. It's a very sad story. You know, as a child, you see your father as your superhero. You
Mm-hmm.
see him that can defend you and guide you and protect you from every form of harassment, any form of danger. And that superhero now becomes the one who will break you to pieces, who would destroy you, who would make your life not worth living. It is unfortunate, and I pray and hope that the commensurate punishment will be meted out to him. You see, when we talk about stories like this, we are describing incest,
Mm-hmm.
repeated abuse. We are talking about coercion. You know, he has been coercing her to 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 abuse her sexually. I mean, what does a child do? I feel so bad for this little girl, because you see, when a child grows up in an orphanage,
Yeah.
older, you begin to wonder, because once in a while they take them out to places, and you ask yourself, other children have parents and you don't have. Why were you rejected? Why were you abandoned? Don't you deserve to be loved? Don't you deserve the life that these other children have? When a child grows up in an orphanage, you are already feeling unloved, you're already feeling unwanted. And then suddenly your father shows up and he wants to have you back. You are happy. You are very grateful that at least if you don't have the two parents, at least you have a father.
Mm, you have
Unfortunately,
one.
Unfortunately, this man happens to be the one that will make life most unbearable for his own daughter. It's unfortunate. It is very sad. And I'm also grateful that, as bad as the case is, it has come to the public. I hope that the girl, there is safety for her, and I hope that there is medical care for her. I equally hope that there is psychological support.
Hmm.
You know, in all of this, there is a legal reality to it.
Yeah.
When a father engages in sexual activity with his daughter, it is rape. It is rape, and there is need for the arm of the law to fall upon him heavily. And also, in the question I've been asking myself is, did the mother of this girl fall down from heaven? Didn't she have family members?
Yes, that's true.
Are the family members? How was it so bad that this man had to first, initially place her in an orphanage? There was nobody to take care of her. Where are the family members? Both the family members of the man and the father and the mother. After all, they all knew that this woman gave birth to this girl. You
Hmm.
see, this is sometimes when there are issues like a child has become, a very important person in the society, and this child is not taking care of maybe the father or the mother, or does not want to see any family member, you begin to wonder why. I mean, what is there? We are all in this world to help one another and all of that. But when you look into some stories, you don't even know how to advise this person. Because this girl will grow up someday and become somebody, a person of importance, a person
Yeah.
of value, a person that is relevant to the society. And then some people will begin to look for her. Oh, you don't remember me. I'm your mother's this. I'm your mother's that. Oh, I'm your father's this. I'm your father's that. And then she will turn her back on them. And then some people will begin to say, what is there? God has blessed you. Bless them too. Forgetting the hard knock life this child had to go through. The other time, we discussed a lady who had to help her husband and all of that, and she couldn't have a child, and she had to go through a lot. And people will come out and advise her that, no, it doesn't mean forgiveness is divine. I'm not saying forgiveness is not divine. I'm not encouraging vengeance. But what I'm saying is, why should people sow a seed and want to reap something different?
Mm-hmm.
Why would you see a responsibility and you avoid it? You turn your back on it. And when this eventually comes to be a success, you want to go there and reap where you have not sown. It is not right. And such persons are thieves. You are only. You are olojukokoro. Because no human being falls from heaven.
Yeah.
To give birth to somebody, even if the mother was not a Nigerian,
Mm.
somewhere, somehow, she came from a family. If this man is so irresponsible, he has a family. I hope and pray that this girl gets the right help. Because as we speak, emotionally, she's battered.
Mm-hmm.
Mentally, they have ruined her. She needs support. Support matters a whole lot. Support matters a whole lot. Because if there is no support, if there is no help,
Mm.
how do you think this little girl will grow up and look at life? Where is the place of compassion in her heart? Because you don't give what you don't have. And I want to also say that if at this point in time we
Yeah.
have a child that is going through this, please try to get away from the abuser, whether it is your brother, whether it is your father, whether it is whoever the person is. Stay close to safer people. Maybe your neighbors, maybe even teachers in school. That is why, above and beyond academics, a school as well should serve as a safe haven for a child while that child is in the school. And a school should be a place where we should have psychologists, we should have people who understand children as part of teachers. In the years past, part of the reason why you can become a teacher is when you are excellent in your subject that has to do with psychology. Because as a teacher in the classroom,
Yeah.
you are trained to monitor your students or your pupils. You are trained to understand their moods. A child
Definitely.
very playful in the classroom suddenly withdraws, suddenly is all withdrawn, does not mingle anymore, is very quiet, is not even excelling academically again, and you're not paying attention. And you don't even know how to handle it. As much as nobody is saying that parents should abdicate their responsibility to teachers, but we are saying that as an educationist, I know that you are trained to study your pupils. So even when this child is not doing well academically, when you study this child and you are able to you have the means, you have the ways to dig deep into the issues. There are ways you ask a child some questions
Yeah.
that would lead to the reasons for this change in behavior. From there, help will come. But you see, most times what we have today is mostly, let me just teach and get out of school. Let me just teach these children and then at the end of the month, collect my salary.
Mm-hmm.
And because some of these teachers are bad, but because of the economy, people are now saddled with a lot of issues that were not so bad in the past years. So you see, we all hands to be on deck. There are children out there, we're talking about one out of so many who are being abused by their fathers or brothers or uncles. I remember, I would always refer to it. A lady came on this program years ago, and she came on as a guest, and she mentioned that while she was still living with her parents, her father, supposed well-known politician, but she
Mm-hmm.
didn't mention on air, that sexually abused her for so long that she ran to her mother. Her mother was living with them in the house, and she was crying that, come to my rescue, help me, fight my father, warn him not to touch me again. And the woman said, that she didn't have such capacity, that should she do that, the man would throw them out to the streets. And there was no way she could feed them or take care of them. When there was no help, on a certain day, she ran out of the house and she lived on the street. But the long and short of it is, she eventually met somebody. You see, when we talk about men, not all men are evil, not all men are wicked, not all men are thieves.
Definitely. Yeah.
Met a young man who stepped into her matter, helped her, put her through therapy, gave her education, and they are married. She's happily married to that man. And she was able to tell her story. She was able to now she said she has a home where they bring in all of these abused girls and help them in whatever means they could. And when they
Hmm.
have bigger issues, they have places where they refer these children to where they can get help. So you see, this story of this girl is very heartbreaking. And I hope that the Ogun State government will not only make sure that the arm of the law rests on this man, he gets a very, very commensurate punishment for what he has done. They should as
Amen.
well make provision for this girl. make provision for her. Her education must not stop. She must be helped. There must
Mm.
be support for her psychologically, educationally, and in all areas that would help her grow up and out of this situation. She needs help. So it shouldn't start and end with just arresting and prosecuting this man. This young girl needs help so that she can be a helper to those she would find in these shoes in future, which was what this other woman that came on the program was doing. Then I don't know. We have lost track of her, you know, her record. I don't know. She record near be her whereabouts and all of that. But I know that there are so many people out there doing this, rendering help to all those children that their parents have failed them. Rose, may I just stop here? Matter they very hard. The thing they
Just
shut up.
it just did one kind, because when you see people who are supposed to protect you and now the ones, harming you, that messes up with your mind. It messes up with your whole being. And then, trust is definitely destroyed totally. Was it yesterday or day before yesterday? I was listening to the story of a young lady, not in Nigeria though, a young lady who at her 16th year birthday, the birthday gift that her father would give her is to marry her off to an older man. I think she was about 16. And then the father married her off to a 24 or 25-year-old guy who abused her. Eh? Like, no, no, no. As young as she was, that guy abused her to the extent that she ran away from him. So the father just deceived her and said, "Oh, let's go somewhere for your birthday." He carried her junior sister. They left their country, went to another country, and they thought, oh, it was just a getaway from home. Meanwhile, as soon as she got there, that's when the father told her, you're staying here. You're getting married to this man, and you need to stay and get acquainted to him. And that's how the father left her there and left with the junior brother. And before you know it, she got pregnant. Got pregnant in the midst of abuse, in the midst of all. At some point, he hit her. She became unconscious. She woke up. She saw the guy dragging her child with somebody. So it was just a lot. And then she ran away from that one, found her way back to her mom, and then, married somebody else. That one still, it was just a lot. So when people who are supposed to protect you, people who are supposed to keep you away from harm, and now the ones giving you that harm, whether directly or indirectly, it messes up with you. And like Binabo said, I'm just hoping that the Ogun State government does not just stop in the arresting of, the this man. Um, the so-called father, he should actually be made to pay for what he has done. And then secondly, let this young woman get the help she needs. Let her be able to access all of the help she needs to become whole again, because it's not funny. She needs to go through a rigorous process of rehabilitation to be whole again. I just hope that the Ogun State government follow this through and through, and all of the security operatives involved in this follow it through and through, so that they don't derail on the way, or they don't stop the case halfway, or they don't just bury it somewhere. And tomorrow you see the man, walking off freely on the streets of Ogun State. It's just so sad. Anyway, thank you very much, Ibina. Well, this is about 26 minutes to 10 right here on your Women Radio WFM 91.7. My name is Rose Justification. I have been about with me on her lens this morning. So yes, let's go ahead and look at another issue this morning and see how much more we can cover. All right, so yeah, this one, there's the battle of CS and vaginal birth. We're still having that kind of battle going back and forth. So let's quickly talk about this before we talk about the last one, Ibinabo. All this, I gave birth to my child through CS, because we've talked about it over and over here, over and over again. But it seems as if the more we talk, the more we still have some people who go through this. So I was just scrolling through the streets of social media, and then I came across this doctor's page. And on the doctor's page, this woman comes out to say that, oh, women who give birth through CS are lazy, and then she goes on to give how her mother-in-law And then her mother, it wasn't her mother-in-law telling her off from her husband's side. Nobody gives birth through CS, so she had to tell herself. She had to quickly tell herself to get ready to, give birth through, to give to have the vaginal birth and all of that. That well, at the end of the day, it just goes to show how lazy you are. If like, can we just know what we're doing? When the statistics are there, maternal death, is there. Neonatal death is also there. Complications that could come in, and all of that. And if not for anything, there's some women that will just say, you know what, let me just have the option of having a cesarean section done. So it's sometimes the woman's life and the baby's life is at stake. You know, and that's where CS comes in. And sometimes it's just a preference, but at the end of the day, not be born, they will still born. No be still pain, everybody go feel pain because CS getting your own pain, vaginal birth getting your own pain. So we are always having all of these comparisons going on, and at the end of the day, it's women that will come up with such comparisons. Eh, but please let's quickly touch on this before we look at the last thing that we need to look at this morning. When are we going to learn, and how are we going to stop all of this comparison, and actually focus on the well-being of the mother and the child?
You see, we always say something on this program, and that is, don't always believe everything you see or read on the social media, or else by yourself you do.
Exactly.
There are so many people who are so deeply ignorant, and they come
Mm,
to sell this ignorance to everybody. And whoever is even worse on that level will buy their ignorance and run with it. You do not see, having a baby by cesarean section is not due to laziness. That is an harmful idea or myth. Don't even buy it. Don't even buy it. When you hear that some people were in the labor room and eventually, after giving birth, they passed on, do you think it just happened like that? Some of them would have survived if they had gone through cesarean section.
yeah.
You see, so many medical reasons for a C-section. And don't allow people who are so ignorant, who lack knowledge, to advise you on it. There are issues that are numerous. Like there are issues like fetal distress. The baby isn't getting enough oxygen, and if they have to put that baby through labor until you are able to push, until the baby is ready to come out, it takes a strong baby too to push through and come out. It's not just a walk in the park. As much as the mother is going through a lot, the baby too is struggling to come out. So when this
Hmm.
baby does not have oxygen, it's not the oxygen all of us they take to survive like this.
That's all.
Let somebody come and close your nostrils and cover your mouth and see how many minutes you can survive before you pass. I'm telling those who believe that when you want to have a baby and you have the baby via CS, you are lazy. See, stop selling your foolishness to everybody. Stop showcasing the level of your ignorance. It is a shame. I'm so ashamed of that woman. She rubbed her face with whatever. In fact, she looked stupid, and everything she was saying was stupid, and everything about her was stupid. And I'm not apologetic about it, because what you are saying could destroy a family. What she was saying could cost the life of a mother and a baby. Because we still have families who have this very poor mindset that it is a lazy person that would give birth via CS. We're talking about, there's something they call placenta previa.
Yeah.
The placenta blocks the birth canal. Is it the fault of the woman? As she put her hand inside her belly, come push the placenta, they can block the birth canal. I mean, why do we lack knowledge and then showcase it like this? When such a case is the case of the pregnant woman, so she and her baby should just die because she wants to prove that she's a strong woman. There is a case of breech position. When the baby's feet or the bottom is trying to come out first. It's not possible. The baby will die. Rose, a woman who had 2 boys already,
Mm.
she had a pregnancy, and that was a baby girl. She wanted to give birth, and the baby was breached. The baby wasn't coming out, and they were, no, you cannot be lazy. They were telling all of this while she was in labor on the
Ah.
bed. Push.
Allah.
Ole. Oh my goodness. Tomorrow you see me person can't forgive those people. These
Mm.
people now died and she pushed and she gave birth to the baby and the baby died because baby had placenta around her neck. So it
Oh.
one, and that is the kind of babies that Yorubas call Aino. The baby died. And when the baby died, because of the way the baby came out, she still had some part of the placenta in her tummy.
Ah.
They now had to rush her, can you imagine, to the theater
Uh-huh. So last she still go to the theater.
to save her life. And this baby never had, sometimes we human beings, if we born boys, we go to find girl. If we born girls, we go to find boy. She had given birth to 2 lovely boys, and she had a third that was a girl. And that was how she lost the girl, and she never had a baby girl. You think she would ever forgive those people?
Yeah.
You think she would ever get over it? So you see, sometimes people need to have proper understanding of what pregnancy is about. Every man should visit a gynecologist and be lectured, be tutored on what pregnancy is all about, so that you don't act stupid when your wife is pregnant and when she needs a surgery, a CS to give birth, and you're saying because she's lazy. Are you worried because she's lazy or because you don't want to spend more?
Mm.
Are you worried more about your pocket or about your wife's life? I used to have a friend, her older sister was pregnant. They are Igbo. Her older sister was pregnant and she was in the hospital and she needed a CS to give birth, and the husband refused to sign. He said no. In his family, nobody gave birth via CS. So this is strange that he wouldn't be part of it. And he didn't even inform the girl's family, nobody to sign for the doctors to carry out the CS. You know what?
Mm.
Lost that lady.
Mm.
We lost that lady. She eventually had the baby by force by fire, a baby boy, but she passed. And the man lived, he moved on.
He moved on now. He'll
The
get married again.
kid was to refund the the bride price. Ah, who get lost? Now my friend and her family. She was the immediate younger sister. And they didn't even, the family had to take care of this boy. Because they were avoiding telling the boy stories, they told him, he thought my friend's mom was his mother.
Mm.
It was to a point where they could share the story with him, that they told him that, look, this is your grandmother and not your mother. And then they told him the story of how everything came about. Now who lose? Tell me, now who lose? Me, yours truly. I gave birth via CS. I was in labor for 2 days. If I don't know me now, die since now. The labor was coming and going off and on. So, this mindset of, no, don't worry, maybe your body, when you get busy, this and
Mm.
that. That day passed. The next day, then the labor came stronger. and I went to the hospital, and the doctor monitored and monitored. They did everything, and funnily, I did a scan before, and the baby was normal. Last minute, my baby breached,
Mm.
and that was why I couldn't do it. And when it was time for surgery, my doctor screwed. My mother was there. In fact, my husband don't, in fact, the guy don't, you know, even get liver and kidney to even stand. And I, I had to have my baby via CS. You know what? When I returned back home, I
Yeah.
know they live, for area where they go say, people you say, I know they understand, they don't get education. I was living in an area where one would easily assume that everybody there is well educated and everything. And a woman who came visiting said, hey, IB, na shakara you sabi do, you are lazy.
Uh-huh.
Akolo mo ṣe aṣọ́lẹ̀ ni ẹ kò máa ń ṣàkọni. Na shakara you sabi do, you are lazy. I don't
Hey.
see anything. Because if I open my mouth, yeah, I don't know who go suppose forgive each other. Whether I me go forgive, I'm sabi, na she go forgive me. Start with her ignorance. So you see, nobody should allow herself, whether you are the husband, whether you are the whoever you are, don't allow anybody to trick you into you are lazy. They know they give birth like that in my family. You see, when you say that, you know what I told somebody one day? I say your family people are poor. Well, are you praying that this your son should remain poor? Like sometimes you tell people what they want, what they should hear. If you want, if it has never happened, your family to happen, then remain poor for life. Your son should not make it. He should not even struggle. He should not even be enterprising. His wife too should not be enterprising. Everybody should remain poor in that family. No progress, no moving forward. Because if nothing has happened, a thing like this has never happened in your family. I said, in your family, they don't get money. At least you don't get money. You don't be like person will get money. So now if you say your pickings have no get money, say, what do you do? I said, because you are saying that giving birth via CS never happened for your family before. So it should not happen. The same way, having money and being financially independent that never happened in your family, it should not happen even with your son. Is that what you're praying? That was where she got the message. I said, you don't do things like this. You are putting your wife, your son, your daughter-in-law's life on the line.
Please.
Because children without fear does not mean that it could not happen to somebody else. And for me, that was the only CS I had. The rest of my children are now normal birth. So there is nothing like, if you start with CS, that's also CS. No. I had my first via CS, but the rest of the births were normal deliveries. So what are we talking about? What are we saying? So please, if there is need for CS, listen to the doctor and go ahead. Please, life matters. Those who are telling you it doesn't happen in their family, and whenever you are lazy, yes, remain lazy and be alive. Be lazy and be alive than to try to prove strong and die. Please. Thank you.
Exactly. Oh, thank you to Ibinabo. Remain lazy, and be alive. It's better that way. You hear, oh, my mother gave birth to 10 of us without going to the hospital. Why can't you do the same? This one did this one. In my fact, can we just know what we're doing? Yeah? Or is it the one that will come and say, okay, sign the paper so that they can go ahead and so that they could go ahead to have the procedure. But you will sit down and start calling all your family members, and they are the ones that will tell you, no, don't do it. Our God is in control. Is it not the same God that gave them the wisdom to know what it means to have a cesarean section? So let's leave religion out of this. Let's leave what do we let's leave the work for people with sabi. Because normal, if you say you want, if now you're by your own strength, why you no kuku just sit down for your house? And let's not forget that our grandmothers, our maybe our mothers or our great grandmothers who gave birth at home, gave birth to 20, 30 children, you will not compare their quality of life to what we have now. You will not compare the kind of things they were eating to what we're eating now. You will not compare the kind of maybe hard work that they were doing that gave them all the energy or that kept their body in check. Eh, compared to now that we have more like a sedentary lifestyle. Now to sit down for one place, hours say you they work. They sit down for one place, hours say they do handwork. Food don't come to the chop. For you, they chop flour here. In the morning you chop flour, in the afternoon you chop flour, in the night you throw a bar for night with we no go even fit digest well. After that one, okay, there's food that you can we actually look at what they were eating before when they had more vegetables to eat, when good food was good enough for them that they were able to purchase it at any point that they could purchase. They would trek from here to here and compare that time and now that you are, is it the same? Can you compare the quality of life then and now? Our bodies, our skin, our bodies, our internal bodies, is it the same with what our great grandmothers and our grandmothers had? It's not the same now. Even themselves that will be talking like that, they even do what their own fathers were doing. Maybe there's a lot of us right now. We had grandparents or great grandparents who are like three, four wives. And all of them were catered for. You right now that you're saying you cannot do what your mother did. Can you cater for more than one wife? Let us know what we are doing, please, and let's not allow anybody come and deceive us. Because a lot of times people use social media to just validate their rubbish and things that they know they can't do. They will come on social media and say they can do it just because they want you to click and to like and for you to resonate with it. And at the end of the day, you're buying the wrong things, you're buying the wrong products, you are, doing a lot of things that even concern you what you're not supposed to do, but because social media say you say if you want follow do. Let's just be careful, please. Let's be careful. Vaginal birth, the cesarean section of all na pikin and mama na we day after. May they come out safe and sound. All right, so I think that's it for today. Tomorrow we'll start up with this particular case about retirees who are not getting their full benefits and which could actually make them take the wrong decisions. All right, because I have a story of this man who comes out to say, oh, that he's not being taken care of, or if nothing is not done as regards to his unpaid pension. He was he retired as a policeman. So if nothing is not done, is not done about his unpaid pension and all of what is due to him, he's threatened that he will join Boko Haram and join Boko Haram and give them all the support they need. So you can imagine this is just one that we know of. Imagine how many this has happened to. Imagine how many are thinking about doing it or have actually done so. So this is something worth talking about so that we can draw the government attention to let them know there's a deficit here. Or if we're not doing it, not supposed to, these same people, now them, at the end of the day, might end up joining the bad ones. It's their children that will end up being the technology or the brain functioning behind all of these things. So please, I think it's better we draw the government attention on this. So we'll start up with this tomorrow morning. But before we go, we have a message here. Before we go, we have a message here coming from Mrs. Oboli. Now, Mrs. Oboli says that good morning, ladies. Happy belated Easter to you both. I think the issue of leaving the female child or even the male child in the custody of some parents in cases of demise or divorce related issues because they are the next of kin should be reviewed at this point in time. Because, in actual fact, some persons are not worthy to be father or mother to their children. In the journey of child sexual violence cases I've heard, this one sticks out like a sore thumb to continually abuse your child sexually for years and to further go down the abuse by aborting it 5 times. Oh my God, this is a tragedy in all ramifications. The girl in question should be taken in rapidly for therapy. She should be shown that in spite of all she has passed through, love can still find her, and rehabilitation is essential in all ways. Now she goes on to say that I think Okay. All right, it's the same message. I think she said, I'm trying to see. Okay. What she has known or seen as a norm from childhood into adulthood will take a long time to be erased from her memory, and with lots of support, the recalibrated mindset is possible. I wish her love, light, and the needed courage to pull together to pull through this dark phase of her life. Thank you so much, Mrs. Oboli. We do appreciate your message, and thank you so much, Binabo, for joining us this morning. So do well to have a great day ahead, and to each and every one of you who tuned in to listen to us this morning, we say a very big thank you to you. My name is Rose Yusuf Kaisar. Stay tuned to Women Radio WFM 91.7. Good morning.